Well, summer is here. The hot weather is here to prove it. A lot of people taking advantage of this weather out on the water in their boats. It's a good time to start talking about boating and the legal rules that surround boating. And God forbid an injury. If there's an injury on the water, what do you do then? Well, Tom Sinus from Sinus Jamis Law Firm joins us to break this all down. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm well. I love getting out on the water, out on a boat. But there's a lot to talk about here. Maybe next week, we'll cut this into a two-part series. Next week, we'll talk about the injuries. Today, let's talk about just the basic legal rules of boating.
It's a great place to start. What do you have to do before you actually get in the water, or as some people might call the paperwork part? Well, the two most basic parts of the paperwork component are registration and certification. So, as I think most everyone knows, your boat has to be registered. The registration has to be displayed on both sides of the boat's bow, where it can be seen above the water line, of course. Think of it, of course, like a license plate. There's some exceptions to the registration rule. Hand-powered boats or kayaks that are less than 16 feet do not have to be registered, but basically everything else does. Remember, your registration is good for 3 years after it's issued, but it expires on March 31st of the year of expiration. And registrations cannot be transferred from boat to boat. What about certification? Okay, here, this is the question of, well, what do I need in order to be able to legally drive a boat? Is there such thing as a boating driver's license? Well, not really, but in a way, yes. Here, the date, July 1, 1996 matters. And this is the cutoff date, so to speak, about whether or not you need a boating safety certificate to drive a boat. If you were born on or after that day, on or after July 1, 96, then you do not need a boating safety certificate. But if you were born before, then you need that boating safety certificate. Now, there are different rules for children under the age of 12. And I would encourage people, if you're going to have a child that young operating a boat, to make sure you check the rules and to be extra safe. So those are some of the kind of very basics about the things you need to have in place before you actually get out there and start enjoying the water.
Well, you made that connection with the driver's license, which makes me think of cars, which makes me think of auto insurance. Do you have to have boat insurance?
Great question. No, you're not required to have boating insurance. You're not required to have insurance that protects you against liability if you hurt someone, or that covers the damage to your boat if you wreck your boat. But of course, most boat owners do, because it's a really good idea. So it isn't required, but it's absolutely something that everyone who owns a boat should have on their boat.
And then when it comes to safety, obviously in a car, it's the law to wear your seatbelt. What about for boats?
Okay, seatbelts. We don't have seatbelts in boats, right? But we have a similar concept, life jackets. And here, the rules, again, I think most people know this, but remember, you have to have a Coast Guard approved life jacket on the boat equal to the number of people who are on the boat. So if you're adding people to your boat throughout the day, remember, you have to be adding life jackets to your boat. Anyone who's being towed behind the boat and any children under the age of 6 have to be wearing those Coast Guard approved life jackets. Safety, other safety concepts. Well, we have some state laws and regulations about basic rules of operation of a boat. And I can't cover all of them, but let me give you a few highlights. One, for example, unpowered vessels like a sailboat or a kayak under state law have the right of way when traveling, and powered vessels therefore need to get out of the way. When two powered vessels are approaching each other, each powered vessel should keep to the left when passing each other. Some people say, well, what about a speed limit? What's the speed limit on this body of water? Well, it doesn't really work like a highway, right? So we have a general rule that says that everyone operating a boat must operate it in a careful and prudent manner, and must operate it in a speed that allows them to come to a safe stop. Now, obviously, that is somewhat subjective, but it puts the onus on the boat operator to make sure that you can safely stop and that you aren't operating at a dangerous speed. So those are some of the basic safety rules. But in addition to that, we have this general concept that you and I have talked about before that says when you're doing an activity, and boating is one of these activities, you have to do that activity with a reasonable degree of carefulness. You can't be careless. And so we have state statutes that help kind of guide certain situations, but then you have to also use your common sense and good judgment.
Well, then get the paperwork in. Hopefully you've got it done already for this year. Make sure that you've got the life jackets for enough people. It's not a bad idea to brush up on those basic operating laws. If you want more information, of course, Tom, you've got a great resource, your website.
Yeah, they can find us online at www.sinusdramus.com, or shoot us an email at info@sinusdramus.com, or give us a call the old-fashioned way at 616-301-3333.